hosted by Jakore Inc. and Fukuoka City Global Finance Center, GFC, and also supported by Israel Economic and Commercial Mission in Hong Kong and Macau. My name is Shun Ono from Fukuoka City GFC, today's MC. Here at our base, I'm together with Mumu, the director of GFC, and Yoshi, and Akiko. Before we start the event, I'd like to ask one thing. Please keep your microphone on mute and turn off your video during this event. Before sharing today's agenda, please check the chat box. We will post a link for the feedback form of today's event, so please fill it in before you leave. Feel free to use the chat box to ask any questions during the event. The only thing we ask is please put the word question at the beginning of your inquiry in the message and before sharing it. Also, this chat box can be used for networking. If you want to PR your project to all the participants, please put PR on the top of your message. If you are interested in certain PR messages directly, please communicate to them directly. Let me start with sharing today's rundown briefly. We will start off with a quick introduction of GSC, GFC, followed by an introduction of Jakore, and by introduction of IETHK, the Israel Economic and Commercial Mission in Hong Kong and Macau. Then we will kick off the pitches, firstly with BI, GOX, GK8, then K2 View, and then last but not least at 6:30, Zota Pay. Firstly, we'll explain, as mentioned, the general information of Fukuoka City GFC, which will be followed by Jakore and IETHC. The pitch sessions will be hosted by 5 innovative fintech startups from Israel. Each startup will have 15 minutes for their session, 10 minutes to pitch, and 5 minutes for Q&A. Audience members can also ask questions in the chat box, as mentioned before, and we will ask them to the startup if time allows. Today, I am happy to announce that we also have a special guest from Mitsubishi Fuso Truck and Bus Corporation, based in Kawasaki, Japan. Mitsubishi Fuso is one of the leading commercial vehicle manufacturers in the world, operating in over 170 markets globally. Fuso has recently launched the Fuso Green Lab, an open innovation platform that focuses on building collaborations with innovators to rapidly implement sustainable mobility solutions. In the scope of fintech solutions, Fuso is seeking to enhance the efficiency of financial flows by reducing delivery time and/or costs and make the financial flows more results-oriented. For more information, please see the link to the website as posted in the chat box. Let me start with the introduction of GFC. Some of you might already know us from GSC, Global Startup Center, but today this is the presentation on the Global Finance Center. Fukuoka is now becoming one of the most famous cities, startup cities in Japan. Fukuoka City was nominated by the Japanese government as the candidate city of the next global financial hub in Japan. Soon after the nomination, Fukuoka City formed Team Fukuoka in September 2020 and GFC 1 month later in October. Team Fukuoka is a partnership between industry, academia, and municipalities aiming to attract international financial institutions to Fukuoka City. Fukuoka's 7 main large corporations and Kyushu University are all members of Team Fukuoka. Global Finance Center is the contact window and executive support team for your projects. We work as part of your team. Even though you are willing to start your project in Japan, you may not know whom you should talk to, so please do not hesitate to contact us, GFC. We are happy to assist you, and our services are a very wide range, available and relevant at any stage of your business, as you can see. We support your startup visa application. After arriving in Fukuoka, we have meetings every month to solve any problems you will face. These days, it's been said that it's getting more and more difficult to open bank accounts for both individuals and corporations in Japan. However, we have a good relationship with local banks, so we can manage to support your fintech operations to open bank accounts without issue. We also offer our unique business matching service. According to this expectation, we will try to find your potential partners in our network, and we propose the best way of the collaboration for both parties, like this event today. This business matching services are available for also any stage of your business. Even though you're in Israel or in Hong Kong and you don't have a company in Fukuoka, Japan, our business matching service is available. When you implement financial projects at foreign markets, complying with regulations is very important, which can be very complicated. However, we have a lawyer in our GFC team who is also a specialist in the financial sector, and this support can be provided you with professional insights. Now, you may be wondering why Fukuoka? What is the advantage here? Here are our advantages amongst many: safety, quality of life, existing startup ecosystem, and POC. Safety-wise, Fukuoka is the only major city located in the Japan seaside, and we have less earthquakes. Therefore, for example, that's why we have some data centers of Tokyo-based enterprises. Fukuoka, in short, has a lower risk of natural disasters, unlike any other big city. Compared to other big cities like Osaka and Tokyo, Fukuoka is smaller, but this is a big advantage for us. It's not as crowded, less competitive, and the living cost here is more affordable and reasonable. We also have strong communities. So once you get into the community, it's easier to make network connection. Fukuoka City is also surrounded by rich nature, mountains, beaches, which are very close from the city center. So we believe our city will be a perfect place for middle and back office and remote workers, as well as startups. Our existing startup ecosystem is another great advantage of Fukuoka City. Fukuoka City declared itself to be a startup city in 2012, and we're known as the most famous startup city in Japan. We have a special visa for entrepreneurs called the Startup Visa. The SUV provides you at least 6 months to 1 year period to prepare and do market research and before you invest and start your business in Japan. Fukuoka City also has a project that supports proof of concept, POC, in the city. As you can see, the movement of Team Fukuoka, public and private sectors are working closely together here. For example, Fukuoka Financial Group introduced the first digital bank as a local prefectural bank in Japan. It's natural to have digital banks for mega banks these days. However, starting a completely new business as a local bank is very challenging. But Fukuoka has the environment that encourages to start something new. And that's why the first digital local bank has emerged from this city. Fukuoka, therefore, has the atmosphere to support willingness to try something new, accept and adopt the changes. In a sense, Fukuoka is innovation. Here's an example of a fintech. Victory Asset Management Japan Company Limited was established in Fukuoka in February 2021 as a subsidiary of Victory Securities Holdings in Hong Kong. We at GFC are supporting their expansion of their business in the Japanese market. They are now applying for Type 2 financial instruments business license. One of their businesses is to sell securities of foreign funds, including their parent company, to the Japanese investors. To do so, they need to get the license of Type 1 financial instruments business. It is very delicate and difficult to get the Type 1 license. Moreover, Type 2. Moreover, and most business activities of Victory Asset Management could be conducted under Type 2 license. That's why we at the GFC considered a few strategies to make this scheme possible by researching and consulting with our in-house lawyer specialized in finance, and ultimately offered our solutions to the Victory Asset Management Japan and Victory Security Holdings. We support and propose the most realistic and the quickest way to start your business here in Fukuoka. As you can see, Fukuoka is a place that you can start fast, start easy. That is our motto and that is our mode. GFC is always happy to assist you, so if you're interested in starting a business in Fukuoka, please do not hesitate to contact us. Now, let's welcome Mr. Shintaro Hirata, the CEO of Jakore Inc., to present a bit about Jakore. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you for the introduction. Good evening, everyone. My name is Shintaro Hirato. We operate several companies, mainly in Japan and Israel and other parts of Asia. And we basically fly around. As a matter of fact, I just 3 hours ago came back from Israel. And for this time, I'd like to take the opportunity to basically present our sort of a business very briefly and to take you through our few example of the success cases that we are having in terms of investment and business collaboration between Israel high-tech startups and Japanese corporation. Now, we have our company have a experienced business and investment team members operating in Japan, Israel, and Hong Kong since 2017, as you can see here. We have mainly 4 separate businesses that we run now, which are we're basically doing direct investment to Israel high-tech and startups, and we're basically doing Asia, Israel business making. We're helping a lot of Israel company to expand to Japan at the moment, and we're also starting to do a lot of high-tech reports, having a partnership with a company called IBC Research, and we have a separate brand for each of these services. Based on the businesses we run, we have a multiple form of legal entities around the world. And we have this Jakore Inc. as the mother company for this. We are now trying to expand to Netherlands as well. Okay, sorry. So. Sorry, I'm just going to go this by slide. So we have been in certain media as well for the last few years. So in a nutshell, what we basically do as the main part of the business is basically we support Israel companies and the Japan Asia corporates hands-on to basically expedite the open innovation activities. And we have partners, tools, and network to basically do this. We have alliance now with strong partners in Japan, in Asia, as you can see here. And we basically provide a lot of the support based on this alliance. And so from here, I'd like to introduce you to a few successful cases that we had in the past in Japan. And I will basically start that with the company called Nexar, which is a sort of a very successful dashcam company in Israel. They have a sort of AI detection capability, which allows the sort of analysis on what is happening on the road. Now, we have we have been doing a activity in Japan for 3 years. We have actually been closing quite big deals with the Japanese insurance companies. Recently, we built a joint venture company here in Japan, and we are basically expanding to create digital HD mapping here in Japan as well. And surprisingly, Nexar's biggest revenue generator is now Japan. So it's very much going well. And next example is Baksa. This is a company which grows algae. So this is more a agri-tech or food tech. Basically, what it does is that it creates algae in Iceland using LED lighting and thermal energy. And it basically creates a sort of a nutritional and stable, sustainable algae throughout the years. And basically what it does is that this algae can be used for supplements and food and fish feed, etc. So it basically drives and helps a lot of the sustainable food problem that we have in Japan. For this, we basically put together a very big Japanese company called DIC. This is the biggest ink company in Japan. They have invested to Baksa, and ourselves, we also invested to Baksa. And we've gathered 10 different restaurant chains to basically create a certain consortium to basically distribute this product. And now we are basically trying to create a joint venture here in Japan as well for this Baksa company. The third one, it's called Bosco. It's an application which basically supports and help the child and elderly for any sort of dangerous activities with the AI inside the application. This activity, we also created a joint venture here in Japan. And this is probably interesting because we created a joint venture with not a large Japanese corporation, but a middle-sized Japanese corporation, or rather small Japanese corporation with 30 engineers, because we needed the technical localization factor for the application. So this itself at the moment is running pretty well in Japan as well. So we have more success cases coming out, but these are quite recent ones that we have been experiencing. And I think, as mentioned here, I think the localization factor and having a sales channel plus the communication, these 3 points are the most sort of important points to basically help the Israel startups to land the product and service to Japan in a very successful way. We also work beyond business in terms of a governmental factor as well. We have been serving as the behind the scene for Jetro Israel for now 5 years. And we also basically support the Ministry of Economy in Japan. Other activities, Cybertech Tokyo, we have been supporting. So other than business factor, we also support any sort of a governmental factor for Israel and Japan in general as well. This is basically for Asia's case, we have been starting to provide the reports and ebooks to basically send across all the sort of information that is necessary for the corporations in Asia. We're also organizing seminars and convention and events such as today's as well in Asia, basically to provide a sort of a place for more sort of startups to expand toward Asia. And for Jakore International, which my good partner Mark runs, we have a B2B sort of a commercialization and distribution platform across Asia. This was 2 years ago. We basically published a book called Next Silicon Valley, which provides more sort of a practical information of Israel startups. This includes Israel, India, and Germany. And we are basically closely working together with the Israel Economic and Trade Mission in Japan, Commercial Mission Consult in Hong Kong, and Ministry of Economy and Industry as well. That's it from my side. Thank you. For any question, please do so on this contact point here. Thank you.
Hi, Hirata-san. Thank you very much for your enlightening presentation. Now we'd like to invite and welcome Ms. Einav Nixon, head of the Israel Economic and Commercial Mission in Hong Kong and Macau. The floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm going to share my screen for a second. So thank you, Sean, for the introduction, and many thanks for organizing this event to Fukuoka City Global Finance Center and Jakore. I would also want to thank our colleague from the Japan office. Daniel Kolbar is the commercial counsel, and Suguro, his trade officer that in charge of the fintech sector, is here with us as well. So as you mentioned, my name is Einav Nixon. I'm the commercial counsel, and I'm heading the economic and commercial mission here in Hong Kong. Basically, in a nutshell, what we are doing is matchmaking, helping local companies to find their business match in Israel. And if there is anything that we can help you with, so we are here for you, and you can contact us directly. So maybe a few words about Israel. Israel is a relatively small country that is located in the Middle East. It's very well known for its startup nation. So you can see we have like more than 300 multinational companies working in Israel. Here are some names of companies in the fintech and insurtech industry. You can see some sample, which is a Japanese company, Broccolis, and HSBC. So again, this is only few names among a lot of companies that work here in Israel. We have nearly 9,000 startup companies, and every year we have more and more companies with innovative ideas here in Israel, and they're responsible for 30% of our GDP in Israel. So a bit to shed a light on what is innovation, and so I would like you to imagine innovation as an engine. So you need a lot of parts in order to engine to work. So this is like for example the ecosystem. So for example, we have the IDF, base for introduction of capable young people to technology and hands-on experience. We have the academia that focus on industrial R&D, and of course we have the government that through the Innovation Authority we help fund a lot of projects and help the ecosystem grow. So a bit about the fintech in Israel. I'll present a clip.
In a world where tomorrow is already here, when we manage our finances, invest in cryptocurrencies, pay our monthly bills, and maybe even support a social or cultural project, Israeli innovation in the world of fintech is there to make our lives easier, more sophisticated, and safer. Thinking outside the box and taking advantage of the compact Israeli ecosystem where everything is in close proximity. Financial companies, banks, R&D centers, leading academic accelerators, investors and entrepreneurs, making sure that Israel is where the next big thing in the dynamic fintech world is being developed at this very moment.
One of the great advantages of Israeli fintech companies is that they approach a lot of different countries. When you start operating locally, usually constantly focus on the local market, and while Israeli entrepreneurs by definition approach the global market.
The Israeli companies in the fintech areas are fearless, and we see a lot of growth in this domain, and also good reputation that help the company raise money from top institutions around the world. So when you are looking at your strengths, it's much easier to create something.
We are here for a specific task. We're here to execute, to create value, to build something together as a group. It's very, very strong in the culture. And the reason why people are drawn to the startup, ecosystem is because then you're part of something that build and create something.
The Israelis are known as very entrepreneurial in terms of the personality, in terms of we're go-getters, so if we want something, we will just do it. We were the first to open the development center in Israel as part of the government program a few years ago, and that helped creating the fintech ecosystem. And now it's across every sector. Whatever we want to find in Israel, we know we're going to find it because the ecosystem is now grown and very developed.
Actually, I think the Ministry of Economy did a brave action by turning to the private sector to develop a new industry, like the fintech industry. And we see the results. A few years after, 8 years after, we can see like a new vibrant economy in Israel, where Israel is a dominant player now in this industry. You have hundreds of startups, a new pool of engineers who have the capacity and the knowledge to work in this finance industry.
I believe that only unconventional and cross-disciplinary thinking can bring new, innovative, surprising ideas, and this rely on the Israeli chutzpah, believing that we can do better, always do better.
Come and be a part of a place that is at the heart of it all, where young fintech companies never cease to surprise by bringing a competitive edge, innovation, and advanced technologies to the financial world, transforming our world into a more efficient one.
So you can see we have in Israel a lot of companies, more than 500 companies active in Israel. Israel in the fintech sector. Israel is actually ranked third among 83 countries in the fintech startup index. So you can see here we are ranked higher than countries like Germany, China, and others. As I mentioned, we have more than 500 companies active in the fintech and insurtech company. The leading verticals are payment, crypto, fintech, enterprise and solution, trading and investment, and insurtech. You can see here a map of some of the leading verticals. Some of the companies are here. And if there are any companies that you would like to meet, so we are here in the Economic Mission are very happy to help to do the introduction. 2021 was a record year for funding everywhere, especially in Israel and especially in the fintech sector. You can see here that in 2020, companies in the fintech sector raised around $1.9 billion. And we can see a steep rise of 136% up to a point of $4.5 billion. In Israel, we have a lot of unicorns, around 100 unicorns. Unicorn company is considered a unicorn company if it value more than $1 billion, and 70% of the Israeli unicorns are among fintech and insurtech company. You can see here some of the names. For example, Payoneer, I think you may know this company, and Lemonade is an insurtech company. And of course, more. So, 1 second. So basically, the Foreign Trade Administration operates over 50 offices around the world. Few of them is in Asia. We are here at Hong Kong, and we have our friends in Japan. So if you want to meet us in person, we are here for you to identify and scout partners potential. We can connect you to relevant companies in the business community, and we can organize a tailor-made agenda for you if you're planning to visit Israel. So again, if you want to meet with anyone in the Israeli ecosystem, we are here for you. We have Nicole and Seguro, our trade officer that is in charge of the fintech sector, and they will be happy to do the connection. Again, thank you everyone, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the event.
Sorry, I guess it was on mute. Thank you very much for your presentation, Ms. Einav. Let's now start on the main course. Let's please welcome our first presenter of today, Mr. Jonathan Hurry of BI. The stage is yours.
Hi, thank you. And thank you all for taking the time to be here and get to know the companies and us specifically. Can you all see the screen I'm sharing right now? Perfect, thanks.
Yes.
Great. So as mentioned, our name is BI. We look at ourselves as the future of risk modeling. And let me tell you a little bit about our company. So before we dive into what exactly our company does, I'd like to take a step back and look a little bit at the landscape and tell you and show you how we look at the landscape and how we think we're positioned to be. So if you look at the evolution of fintech and finance, in the beginning, there were only big banks. And there's always the financial institution. And underneath that, there's a layer of infrastructure that allows that financial institution to be that financial institution. And in the beginning, the big banks, Barclays and all the other big banks used to just build most of their infrastructure themselves and a little bit rely on third parties to build them, machine learning and black boxes and crazy stuff like that. But it was either their own build or something that somebody built specifically for them. The second wave of fintech are companies that we look at like Klarna and Afterpay. These are companies that rely also on third parties, and also they build themselves, and they are also in themselves companies that allow, let's say, for example, Klarna allows retailers and online retailers to become somewhat of a fintech company because they're now able to provide and give payments to their customers. And then the last stage of fintech companies, as we see it, are every company basically, and that's what I was going to before with the retailer. As we look now, and if you look now online, you're gonna see more and more these little buttons that say pay now with pay in payments with Klarna, or just pay in payments by the retailer. Abercrombie and Fitch can just give you payments themselves and basically give you loans. And basically every company that that's facing customers, it's a B2C company, we believe that in the near future will become somewhat of a financial company. These companies are not going to spend millions of dollars building their own infrastructure. They're also not going to rely on third parties building them specific solutions for themselves. And this is where we position ourselves. We believe we want to be part of that infrastructure that allows every company to become a fintech company. Basically, the type of infrastructure that we supply is the underwriting. So BI is basically an A to Z underwriting platform that allows the lender to basically use machine learning, advanced analytics, and be basically just as sophisticated as a bank when it comes to their underwriting process. So if you look at the full solution of what is happening when we give out a loan. So it starts off with an application, some kind of onboarding process where we get information. Then it goes into the whole modeling, decisioning infrastructure, the whole underwriting process, which is, for some people, almost a little bit of voodoo, right? And then in the end, there's the management and the ongoing management of the loan. So as we said, BI focuses on that underwriting portion of the process. We do basically everything from data acquisition, data transformation, everything the financial institution needs when he brings his own data. We're easy to connect to any either in-house sources, inside data panels that they have, or outsources such as People, Scion, anti-fraud detection, credit scoring, Equifax, whatever you want, wherever the customer is getting their information from, we feed it all into the BI platform. And that's when we start using the feature research and the underwriting, machine learning and AI infrastructure that we have. Basically, the customer is going to start doing their own tests, looking at their own correlations, looking at their own things, trying to use the data to get more and more insights and basically become more accurate in their decisioning as to who's going to be a good, where is going to be, how am I going to give a good loan and how am I not going to give a good loan. Another thing that we do is automatic feature research. So the machine itself, our platform, is going to go over the data for you and start recommending features. And that's actually something that we hear a lot from customers right now, that they really enjoy this because the software just recommends them a feature. In the beginning, they have no idea why this would work. And then when they start researching it a little bit, they also understand the business logic. And that's when they can really start inserting those features into their models and really start getting more and more accurate models. By the way, I didn't say anything about data-driven models versus not data-driven models, because I think there's already a consensus in the market pretty much that people know that if they can be using data, they want to be using data. McKinsey shows us reduction of between 20 to 40% when a company starts moving from just regular expert models to data-driven models. So there's a huge demand in the market for this. And then the last part of what BI system does and why it makes everything flow so easily is because we also have a decision engine part where you take that statistical model that you build that gives you in the end a score, and you put that into a decision engine and you can use that in production. So basically from the data acquisition throughout the actual decision for every customer, you make the decision, all of that can happen in one platform in BI. So it's very easy to use. There's no It's a no-code platform. It's very easy to use for people who are not data scientists. And basically any organization that wants to start getting the benefits that machine learning and AI can give you, with BI can do that without having a specific team of data scientists. More than that, if you do have data scientists in your organization, rather than having them build the basic infrastructure that we have already built, you can have that team of data scientists build more specific solutions for your own business. One more thing that we have, just before I go back again, discuss what we about the company. One more thing that we have that customers are showing us very much pleased of from is a something we call model shadowing or shadow modeling, where while you're already working with whatever model you created in the platform, the machine is also going to run a few different models simultaneously and try to see if they can find a model that's going to be more accurate than what you have. And if it does find something like that, starts recommending to you changes. So that's one more thing that we do with machine learning. I'm not going to go over, we have obviously testimonials of our customers. We have a couple of dozen customers in Israel right now that are using us or considering using us. So far, everybody's happy. Nobody, knock on wood, nobody's left us so far. Our pricing is rather low. Again, we're trying to be the infrastructure for the new to finance companies, the companies who are not big banks, who do not want to spend tens of millions of dollars or millions of dollars even on their underwriting, but still want to be able to give accurate and correct loans. And basically, just to finish this off before I do have a few more minutes for questions. Just kind of to tell you where I view us in the whole financial landscape, and especially where it comes to the open banking. So when you look at open banking, and we hear that a lot from customers, that you can see companies are being formed. Other companies that were not financial companies are now looking at becoming financial companies to some aspect, basically because they now have the accessibility, or even here in Israel, it's not exactly open yet, but it's going to be probably within the next year. The availability of all that data opens the minds of companies and opens the minds of people, makes them say, you know what, I want to go into the loan business. I want to go into the financial business. And when you think about it, just having the data is not enough, because you can have the best data in the world. Unless you know how to analyze it, unless you're analyzing it using the most current algorithms of machine learning, if you have a person analyzing your data and you're going up against a big bank that has machine learning tools, you're going to lose, regardless of the fact that somebody leveled the field as far as getting the data. You still have to process it correctly. And that's where I see BI and our big advantage. I think we're going to be an instrumental part of that portion of the open banking. Companies that now have the access to the data are going to need to be able to process it. And I believe BI is going to be a winner in the race as far as which tool is going to be. I want to thank you for giving me this time, and if there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you for your presentations. So I'm Yoshi of the Global Finance Center, GFC. So I would like to get more deep understanding of your product. So especially the applications about the data acquisitions. So what kind of data are you assuming you need for the installation of your product? So what kind of data are you assuming?
So we don't require any specific sort of data. The data is not going to be something we're supplying. The data is going to be whatever data the customer is currently using or is planning to currently use to use for his decisioning. Now, for examples, we have a few customers that are using many different APIs to get their data, and that's a few of our customers. Two of them actually are not even using any other part of the tool, rather than just those API connectors, because it's very easy to connect almost any type of API from any external source to our system, and also use your existing data sources.
Okay,
does that
thank
answer
you.
the question?
Okay.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It's maybe a bit broad, but with your platform, do you have like a target or a specialized sector in fintech that you feel is most appropriate or targetable?
So we don't really look at the market as such as a specific type of customer. We look more of the size of the company. So if you're a big bank, if you're a big fintech company, you're probably going to have this type of infrastructure that you have already built, and you're probably priding yourself as this is what makes me special. So we're not going to look at you if you're too big, but otherwise any type of lender, and it doesn't matter if it's business loans, consumer loans. You could say maybe consumer loans have a little bit more of advantage, but from what we see so far with our current customers, it could be basically any type of lender. As long as you're loaning money and you're not too big, you can find value in our system.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
So do you have any, like, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Alex here. So of course, we're Mitsubishi, we're a truck and bus company. We do lease some of our vehicles to customers. That's of course one way of handling the payments. We do have a financial services division. I'm not sure exactly if they have a bank to underwrite this. They probably do. But is this something your technology has been applied to in terms of looking at clients to lease to?
No, we're actually starting a pilot probably next month, not really with the automotive industry, but with the hotel industry. One of our investors actually just bought the Hilton in Heathrow, and he wants us to, and it seems like a good use case for us yet, to analyze the data to see which customers are going to be more likely to get upsell. So restaurants, spa services, etc. So I would say kind of the same thing, but no, we have not done anything in the automotive industry yet specifically.
Okay, understood.
Alex, I think that actually I was about to ask a very similar question to you. And in case of the automotive industry, maybe I would say for the private car, and it's also the operating leasing and also the finance leasing, okay? And for them in the States, most of the automotive companies are making money through the financing rather directly selling the car. So in your, Alex, in your cases, it also happened in the truck industry or not?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a leasing division, we have operating leases, we have just regular leases. And so that's a way that we do make some of our revenues. We either do it ourselves or we farm it out to a partner. I'm not sure in which situation we would do it ourselves versus which we would farm it out to one of our partners, but it is something that we do. And for me, that would be the potential use case for us if we were to look into this. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I think, Jonathan, so you already got one opportunity. Already you secured one opportunity to talk further. Lucky guy. Yeah, always the first starter is very lucky. Yeah. And so we'd like to arrange a separate meeting. But further to the answer of Alex, I want to ask Jonathan. So the size of because you do the sort of the credit sort of scoring. And by using the services, the sort of the amount of the money or sort of the loan will be suitable for these kind of services, because you are looking for a big company, but for the bank or the sort of automotive finance company have to make decisions. So I don't think that the bank will make a decision for the loan of the $100 million US. But you said big. Can you give me a rough idea how much the sort of the size of this loan will be suitable to use your services?
Yeah, so first I just want to make sure that I was before that I made myself clear. We are actually not targeting the big banks. We're targeting the smaller companies. And when it comes to the size of the loan, I would say anything under than a mortgage. So if you're giving a mortgage, if you're giving several millions of dollars in loans, or just house mortgages, you're going to have a lot of checks, and a lot of the tests you're going to look are going to be specifically for that use case, and you might not be using statistical models as much. But any type of loans smaller than that, if it's small or medium business loans or tiny, even micro consumer loans, would be suitable for our system.
So when you say the size, do you mean per transaction, or do you mean just overall? Because, for example, so we have trucks, of course, so those trucks can cost anywhere between $20,000 and $100,000. So if we have a deal for one truck, it could be a deal for 100 trucks. So then you can see it can scale very quickly from being below the size of a mortgage to above the size of a mortgage. Would that still, on the higher end of a larger deal, would that still be
Hey,
something that
Alex.
could work?
Hey,
Yeah.
Alex, sorry, we are on a schedule, but I'd like to suggest that perhaps maybe we could schedule another telecon between the two of you for further discussion there.
Sure. So of course, from our side, we're not the specialists, we're the generalists. So we do have to understand the solution a little bit more, and then we'll also figure out where it fits, if it fits with all financial services.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'll be very happy to continue this discussion, Alex.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Thank you, everybody, for this time and the opportunity to present.
Thank you, Jonathan, as well for the presentation. Alongside this current opportunity, we are thinking of also maybe introducing with some net banking firms in Japan too. So please look forward to our communication.
Sounds
Thank
great.
you again. Let's move on to the next presentation. Please welcome Itzik Lavi from GeoX GIS Innovations. The floor is yours. Itzik Lavi, are you here?
Maybe we can continue to the next company while we're checking where is Itzik.
Let's do that. Okay. Let's move on then to GK8. Please welcome May Mitchelson. The floor is yours. May Mitchelson, I guess you may not be here too, so let us move on to the next one. Sundar Iyer from K2 View. If you may take the floor and begin your presentation, that'll be much appreciated. Thank you. Sundar, are you there?
Apologies, everyone. Sundar here, and I was busy alt-tabbing there. But firstly, a very warm welcome to everyone, and thank you deeply for this opportunity to share the K2View story with you. If you would allow me, please, to share my screen, I shall do so. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see your screen. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. So my name is Sundar Iyer, and I'm the director for Asia Pacific at K2View. K2View is an Israeli company that focuses on helping complex companies all the way through to mid-sized companies succeed through transformations that are data-driven and data-centric, and we do so by delivering real-time data products. So We currently tokenize about 12 to 13% of global credit card traffic. And we're also the choice of American Express and companies like that to do their test data management, which is essential for them to launch new services quickly. So we operate at the speed of business, and we deliver real-time 360-degree experiences with what are known as data products. And I'll explain what a data product is as we go through this. But fundamentally, we provide these data products in real time. We help fuel operational and analytical workloads, and we're half the cost, and we speed up things versus any other alternative out there. We do have, and we're very grateful for, a range of blue chip clients, predominantly in the US and Europe. We have opened here in the Asia region with a focus predominantly on Indo-Pacific countries about 18 months ago, and we've had some success. And we're certainly very much looking forward to partnering with companies in Japan and both partners as well as enterprises. So let me actually share with you what we actually, and the problem that we actually solve. So when it comes to any large organization or mid-sized organization even, you typically have about 10 to 20 key processes that you need to absolutely nail in terms of managing your costs, managing your risks, managing your customer engagements and your revenues. But what's happened over the last 30 to 40 years, and I'm somewhat guilty of this myself, is that for every new business problem we had, we created a new application. And so you'd think that if we've got 10 or 20 key business processes, that we should have about maybe 50 to 100 applications that are running in our business. But the reality is, in very large telcos and financial services companies, healthcare companies, etc., that we've got thousands of applications, because we've taken a very application-centric approach where every new business problem has resulted in a new application. And that's resulted in data being smeared across or fragmented across hundreds of systems. They're captive in vendor-owned applications. They're locked, within legacy systems and in various formats and technologies. And when it comes to things like being able to provide privacy, as we've seen in recent times, or security, this is very much at the forefront in a very changing world. And the volumes of this data continue to grow across these separate systems. And all of these, a view of a customer, 360-degree view of a customer, for example, is typically very difficult to obtain because it's scattered across all of these different systems. If you want to get test data to test a new feature that you're launching, you might have to go to 100 different systems. And of course, there's then the concern about putting production data in test systems, because this is not a joke, but we have come across organizations where the test teams have actually sold customer data as a side hustle. So it's certainly a concern, and these are the sorts of issues that we address, because what we find is that with any transformation, mastering your data is one of the critical steps to ensuring a successful transformation. And we are the data liberators. We help liberate data from these siloed systems. And the name of the company, K2View, K2 is actually the hardest mountain in the world to climb. But once you get to the top, it's a wonderful view. We help you get through these very difficult challenges and make something that would seem quite uphill more of a walk in the park. So we do this through what we call a data product approach, or operational data management approach. And we are the only platform in the world that actually creates, manages, and delivers these data products in real time. And I can't emphasize that enough at Fortune 100 scale. So what is actually a data product? So a data product is any person, place, or thing. So in the financial services space, you can think of it as an account or a customer or an order or an employee. It could be anything that's that in business terms is critical to running your business and is the language of your business. But a data product is much more than just a person, place, or thing. It's also an integrated harmonized and complete view of that data. So it's picking this data from multiple disparate systems, it's harmonizing it, it may be putting it into an industry standard format, so your systems of engagement are able to more readily use this. And it's also a complete view. It represents everything that you know about that customer or that account or that order. It's always fresh because it's information that's synchronized with your source systems in real time, and we have a number of technical mechanisms that we use to ensure that the data is always fresh. And by having fresh data, you've got a complete situational, a fully aware view of what's going on in your business. Of course, it's secured, it's governed and compliant. So, for example, if you've got 10 million customers, we don't place all those 10 million customer records in one database. We actually put that across 10 million separate databases, which are separately encrypted. And this is actually one of our key categories of patents, and of which we have many. And once we actually have this always fresh, real-time, holistic view of these data products, we can use that to fuel operational and analytical workloads. So if you've got a million queries about one particular customer, that's an operational workload. If it's one query about a million customers, that's more of an analytical workload. And we can fuel or pipeline this data from these operational systems that we call fabrics or meshes, and we support both types of architectures, and we can pipeline that into your analytical systems. So really, it's about democratizing data access and being able to leverage, everyone says data's the new oil. We actually help you mine it better and get the insights to where it needs to go faster. So, and we do this right across the life cycle of, designing the data product, engineering it, testing it, and deploying it. So, these are different examples of data products. I mentioned we tokenize 13% of global credit card traffic. There we've got credit card as a data product, and we have 3.3 billion micro databases that are running. It could be a claim, it could be a device, it could be pretty much anything. In financial service customers, we typically see these data products being used, branches, loans, customers, accounts. And if I may share, a little bit of an animation here as to how these data products actually work. So I mentioned before, we have one micro database for every data product instance or every business entity instance here. So we're pulling data from all of these systems on the left. So you can think of these systems on the left as systems of record, and we're able to serve them to any one of these systems of engagement on the right-hand side. So we're pulling the data in, we're ingesting it, we're unifying it, sort of creating that full holistic view. We're enriching the data. So we might be applying, consent, that customer has consented to receiving communications. We'll transform the data into, industry standard formats, mask it, secure it, and compress it with 90% lossless compression. We're then able to expose that data into all of these different systems of engagement on the right. And so instead of querying, very, very large databases with complex joins and then, doing all of these data operations on them, taking a micro database approach, as we've found since our founding in 2009, actually results in a much more speedy process and a much less infrastructure demanding approach as well. So one of our customers in the US, we actually took them from one of the world's largest Exadata deployments on 6,000 cores down to about a quarter of that footprint. So it's a much quicker time to value. And importantly, also, we're finding some cultural changes happening in the customers that we're deploying this, where there's a common language between business and IT. And of course, everything is governed on the fly. So I mentioned before, we support different types of architectures. You can take a centralized data fabric approach, or you can actually take a federated approach as well, where it is divided, these micro databases.
It's 10 minutes.
Oh.
So we want to move to the QA session.
No worries at all. I just had, one final slide here, which was to say that we can actually support a variety of different workloads or a variety of different use cases with this solution. And here are some references. Thank you.
Thank you, Sundar. For starters, I'd like to ask Alex from Fuso if you have any questions. We'd like to give you the first opportunity.
Sure. Thank you. So question from my side. So, I mean, if I understood correctly, basically what you're offering as a solution is creating more efficient data lakes. Is that kind of my understanding correct?
Are a consumer of our information. So think of it as us hydrating these data lakes with fresh information, with fresh data. So we actually work together with, the likes of Snowflake, etc., lake data lakes, data warehouses, lakehouse architectures, to actually supply these analytical platforms with very fresh operational data, so that they can be far more efficient.
So moving things efficiently in and out of the data lakes basically is
from any system of record. So from any target from any source to any target bidirectionally. So we might, for example, take say a machine learning algorithm that's working out, say, a credit score, and that information is stored in the data lake. We can pull that out and enrich the data product of a customer, so that the next time the CSR, the customer service rep, has reason to check that record, they can check they can see the credit score along with all of the other information about that customer.
Okay, understood. And so then the innovation there, if I understood correctly, is basically through the use of these micro databases that permits you to be more secure and more efficient somehow.
Absolutely. So if you imagine, if you've got, say, a bank which has 10 million customers, and they've got one statement a month, so they've got 10 million times 12, that's 120 million times, they have a data retention for, say, keeping it for 7 years. So that's 120 million times 7, that's 840 million records that they'll have to trawl through. With a micro database, you've got one record times 12 times 7, you're only going to have to look through 84 records. So that's why we're faster than anything else on the planet.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Do you have any particular field of companies that you're looking for in the Japanese market? Or do you have,
Absolutely. So we're very keen to partner with system integration companies that can take the solution and take the platform and place a service wrapper over it to implement this in customer environments where they understand the processes. We're also very keen to partner with financial services companies. The more complex the application and data landscape, the more we shine, and the better the benefits that we can provide. So anywhere from a mid-sized company all the way up to a very large company, there's no real limit for our scale in terms of who we can cater to. But I would say these two categories, system integrators as well as the end user organizations, being the financial services organizations, insurance companies, banks, etc.
My question might be a little bit wrong, but I'll ask you a question. For example, if you introduce you to the sort of the physical data centers, does it work for you?
So introduce us to the data center providers?
Yeah, so I have one company in mind. They are running a huge data center, sort of physical data center. They have a lot of big server with a lot of security. So is that your target or not?
It's a component of the solution in that we are cloud agnostic. So we're running our solutions on any cloud, so AWS, Azure, GCP, private clouds, on-prem as well. So we're quite agnostic to the actual data center infrastructure itself. Certainly, I mean, so that isn't really quite our target segment. It's more the system integrators and the end user organizations. But certainly we can, having a data center partner in country would help us, particularly in those use cases which require, which have data sovereignty requirements, which require a local hosting of the data. So it'll be a component of the solution.
Okay, thank you so much. So you're like GFC is still like gathering the information in your like field. So we are trying to contact the entity data to they are also doing you know, the yeah, system integration. So I think we will talk to them to get more information and understand further your services. Then we'll get back to you.
That would be wonderful. Thank you very much. And I'm very happy to be contacted after this session as well. If you have any follow-up questions, I look forward to your ongoing queries. Arigatou gozaimashita.
Yeah, please not to forget when you come to Japan, you have to make a Fuji view instead of the Keto view.
Absolutely. Before COVID, I visited Japan 7 times. I'm looking forward to my 8th visit.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Sundar. We have heard that May Mitchelson from GK8 is in the house. So before we go to Zotape, May, if you could present MK8.
GK8, of course. Yes, definitely.
Oh, sorry. GK8, sorry.
Yeah.
My mistake. Sorry about that. GK8.
MK8 is also great. Just GK8 got a meaning. Perfect. So thank you. And I'm happy to be here. GK8 is an Israeli cybersecurity company. What we do is that we partner with leading financial institutions, banks, custodians, exchanges. Well, not only financial institutions, hedge funds, family offices, regulated custodians. And recently, I will say telco companies as well. And we provide them an end-to-end platform that enable them to build and execute their blockchain strategy. Basically, to start gaining revenue from the blockchain economy. And the way we did it, and let me share my screen. Let's see if you can see it. Can you see it now full screen? Perfect.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Great. Sure. So as I mentioned, GK8 has built an end-to-end platform that provide organizations everything they need in order to build and execute their blockchain strategy, starting from tokenization, then custody the digital assets, earn yield on those digital assets called DeFi staking. And the best part is that GK8 platform is a standalone platform that integrates very simply with the bank or the organization system. And it's covered by the highest insurance in the market today, which is 750 million of assets of insurance per bank, per organization that is working with us. Just some comparison, so you will know the insurance level in the digital assets economy. Usually the insurance is ranging in the digital asset space between 20 to 30 million. This is a dedicated insurance of 750. And I'm happy to explain how we managed to get that highest insurance from Aon. And the way what we're doing is so different. So our story starts with, as every good Israeli cybersecurity company, the founders of GK8 both used to serve in elite cybersecurity units under the direct command of the Israel Prime Minister office. They were protecting strategic assets of the government from state-level hackers. Back in 2017, they encountered for the first time something called Ledger Nano, which is one of the most commonly used wallets to secure digital assets in the world today. And it was back then as well. They saw it, they couldn't believe why people think it's so secure. They bought it and they hacked it in 4 days. And then they decided to build GK8, an institutional level custody solution. Today, GK8 is working with multiple financial institutions globally. We're working with Kasha Bank, Vast Bank, the first national bank in the US, to offer self-custody capabilities. We're working with eToro and different crypto exchanges. We're working with Prosegur, which is a regulated custodian. It's a custodian for banks. He's doing custody for basically traditional assets. They understood very quickly that crypto custody is the future. And they launched Prosegur Crypto based on GK8 technology. So our clients are managing more than 60 billion using our tech. So whether you're building or want to offer services on cryptocurrency, being ready for CBDC, creating tokenization of traditional assets, NFT, Real estate tokenization, we're completely asset agnostic, and we can provide you everything you need. Again, custody tokenization, staking, DeFi, everything is combined inside our platform. It's a standalone platform that can help you get your business up and running. So GK8 solution is basically the enabler for financial institutions to step in the digital asset economy and continue being a bank as they are today, but just now on a new asset class, which is digital assets from any type. Again, NFT, security, equity, CBDC, and cryptos. Whether it's private or public blockchain, we're agnostic to the asset itself. Our solution built by 3-tier architecture that we provide. Everything is being developed in-house by our team in Israel. It's a hybrid approach of something called the cold wallet. They're meant to hold the big treasury of the assets. An MPC, multi-party computation. It's basically, it's a keyless technology that we have a patent on that eliminates the need for a private key in the cloud that can integrate by API to the bank, to the organization system. And from that moment on, the bank, the organization, everything will happen through their business logic, through the API of GK8 as a white label solution. They will connect to our system, and they could build any blockchain offering that they want on any type of assets covered by the highest insurance in the market. I'm not going inside the tech at the moment, but I'll just explain at high level that we have 7 patents on our technology. We eliminate one of the biggest pain points that exists in blockchain technology, which is the fact that every time you create a blockchain transaction, you must be connected to the internet in the creation phase, which exposes your system to cybersecurity attack vectors. And GK8's first patent is that, as opposed to all the existing solutions in the market, we are the only solution that doesn't need to have that mandatory data. We know how to create it internally, eliminate the need for your system to be connected to the internet in the creation of the transaction. By doing so, we eliminate all potential attack vectors because our system is never connected to the internet. I'm happy to dive into those details, exactly how we do it. If you think it's relevant for your organization, happy to have another call to elaborate on that in more details. But at high level, GK8 system is built in a way that you can configure the rules and policy so it can comply with your regulation. So for example, in Hong Kong, there is a specific regulation saying how much percentage of the assets from any type should be in cold, how much should be in hot. Of course, we can configure the system to comply with any type of rules and policy the institution would like to have. We have different partnerships in place. Again, so you'll have touch and go system up and running in 3 days of operation, integration with Chainalysis for KYC, AML, integration with EY for balance at the station if the organization is using GK8 system to execute their blockchain strategy. And as it's a standalone system, our integration takes around 4 days. It's only API level integration. And from that moment on, that's it. The organization, the financial institution, the bank have their own system as a white label solution that now they can tell their clients, you trust me as your bank. Now you can use me for your digital assets. Each one of their customers can open an account by API, frictionless, can custody their assets, can trade it, have connection to multiple exchanges. But it's not only cryptocurrency. We're working with other providers also on tokenization of traditional assets and then trade them. We're involved in a few CBDC initiatives about creating tokenization of state level protection and then doing custody, minting, and burning of it. Smart contract on different use cases, NFT marketplaces, acquiring lands in the metaverse. Everything is possible, but the building block for everything in the digital asset economy is about custody. How do you actually custody those assets? Once you have that settled, on top of it, our system is helping you build the trading, DeFi, staking capabilities. So that's GK8. If you have any questions, feel free. That's my email. I'm happy to send any additional information you may need and jump on additional calls. And feel free to ask me any question that you have.
Hi, May. Thank you very much for your interesting presentation. Don't want to throw a curveball to you, Alex, but I was wondering how the tokenization of Fuso trucks and the metaverse is going. Would this be something that GK8 can also offer, or would be interesting to you and your organization?
So creating tokens specifically, probably not. We're not necessarily looking into creating NFT assets at this time or blockchain assets. One thing though that May mentioned that could be interesting to us is smart contracts potentially. So this is of course something longer term. Potentially either having not about having an asset that we want to trade, but about making data more accessible to others. So potentially either ownership contracts or potentially odometer readings, service records of vehicles. Those are things that potentially could be put on a blockchain and shared across different owners of a vehicle. So that's where I would see it potentially fitting. I don't know if May wants to add anything about smart contracts that could be relevant for us.
Of course. First of all, we involve in many smart contract initiatives. And when you're talking about smart contract, there's a few points of failure, not a single point of failure. First of all, who is the owner of that smart contract? If that represents data, it's very important that only your system will have the access to change it, to create more instance of it for different users and to burn it. So many initiatives that we take in part is that in every smart contract, one of the most important fields is who is the owner of that smart contract. So what we do is that we work with the organization, installed our system, and then in their smart contract, they define GK8, their wallet, as the owner of it. Because of course you don't want to go live with any project and then somebody will hack your system, change all the information and will kill that. So of course we're involved in many of those initiatives. It's very important to have, again, the key management layer to manage that. And of course, that's exactly what we do. So happy to take it forward and discuss it in more details.
Okay, understood. That's something we need to look into.
Definitely.
One point, there's also Telly on the line here. I think he had a question for the previous person. I don't know. I want to make sure we don't miss him. Telly, any questions from your side for this presentation?
Not really for this one. Yeah, because using the blockchain in the financial area, currently we are not doing any kind of digital asset.
Telu, sorry, I think it's kind of hard to hear you. Could you speak close to the mic?
Is that clear?
Better.
Okay. Yeah, currently I think that on the finance and controlling side, we are not having any digital asset using the blockchain right now. So yeah, actually I don't have any question on this presentation.
Okay, understood. Just wanted to make sure that people knew you were here also in case any questions come up.
Thank you, Telo. May, I was wondering, I mean, is our understanding also right that perhaps you're also looking to, exchanges are also kind of targets for your product and services, like crypto exchanges?
Definitely. So we're very much looking to expand into the Asian market. We will more focus on the US and European market. Definitely putting a very high pressure now. We're about to open an office also in Singapore quite soon. Hopefully it could have been Hong Kong, but it's going to be Singapore. So yes, what we're looking for is to partner with banks, financial institutions, custodians, exchanges, crypto players, family offices, hedge funds. Everybody is dealing with blockchain technology, need a secure infrastructure to join into that space, and we're looking to partner with those players.
Thank you.
Perfect. So you have my email if there's any questions. I'm always available.
So after this event, we'll introduce your project to the fintech community in Tokyo. Then we'll get back to you the feedback. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing, perfect. Thank you so much.
Actually, I remember one company running the sort of create exchange platform, but sorry, I forgot the name. I need to check it. Okay, that's why after we talk to them, I come back to you. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Next, we would like to welcome our last presenter, Sarah Wang of ZotaPay. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Great. And so I will just go ahead and share my screen. Great. Do you see it?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So my name is Sayla. I'm a senior account executive and Asia Business Development of ZotaPay. Very glad to see everyone here. And yeah, thank you for all the organizers of this amazing event. And so for the next 10 minutes, I'll be showing you a little bit of everything that you need to know about ZotaPay. Okay. Yeah. We're a company that provides online business merchants with alternative payment methods of many countries in the world. Currently, we are active in 6 regions headquarters in the world, including here Tel Aviv, Israel, and in Bulgaria, London, Switzerland, Singapore, and Hong Kong. So many people might ask, what is alternative payment methods? So in a nutshell, it refers to any payment solutions that are not credit card solutions, such as e-wallet, bank transfer, mobile money, vouchers, cash solution also, and they're very locally oriented. So unlike there are only like 5 major universal credit card brands in the world, there are hundreds of thousands of APMs, alternative payment methods, which makes it extremely hard for online business to integrate APMs of all the countries that they want to target. So here comes ZotaPay for help. We normally know as payment solution provider, PSP, maybe you're familiar, but we are absolutely more than that. We can take care of everything any business needs related to managing local payments, from the industry's widest coverage of APMs to the highest anti-fraud security level, from the most advanced payment gateway technologies, and also the cross-border remittance capacity. With our all-around products and services, we can help business to collect the funds, collect the online payment locally, conduct the currency exchange smoothly, and also manage the funds under one gateway and perform overseas settlement to wherever the business is at in the world and in any currency preferred. So we also have options for business to top up their accounts or use their unsettled funds for a payout to their end users if they need. So why an alternative payment method are so important for business nowadays is because it is essential tools for global online business to reach the emerging markets with large populations, such as Asia, Africa, and Latin America, where most of the customers actually don't own any credit cards and want to pay in local currency and without crazy conversion rate. And on top of that, on top of local payment methods, for any business to collect the payment from customers globally, it's actually very hard. You need to have a legit and safe cross-border remittance network. And our local presence, where you can see here, and the license in many jurisdictions can actually make it possible and truly allow ourselves to be one of the bridge that any online business needs to connect themselves to global customers, I would say, without worrying about local regulations or currency exchange or funds collection, because they're all taken care of by ZOTAPay. So behind our wide coverage of payment solutions is actually our strong ability of partnership acquisition. So by following our unique business model of integrating local processors and making their local APMs in-house solutions, our in-house solutions, we managed to expand our payment coverage dramatically without developing our own new payment solutions from scratch. So ZOTAPay was founded in 2016, and in the short 6 years of time, we have already stretched our wings to more than 65 countries in the world, and with more difficult countries to come. So starting with the world's most populated regions, as you can see, such as Africa, China, Latin America, and Southeast Asia, which is our strong suit, where there are vast potential in e-payments business, and they also have the fastest growing rate in terms of the business. And also we're very good at the countries with unique payment patterns, such as Japan, India, Middle East, where the population has their own preference. So as of November 2022, the number of APMs we can provide in terms of the payment service type is more than 1,000 around the globe, and certainly the most among any PSPs in the world. We try to support as much online business industries as possible. So from low risk business, such as e-commerce and the retail, to high risk, such as forex trading and online gaming, we're confident to provide different businesses any payment assistance they may need, regardless of the business scale or transaction volume or targeting customer range. Okay. Let's dive into some features that makes us stand out. ZOTAPay has very modest onboarding requirements compared to other PSPs, I would say, at our standard. The timeline from start to finish can be as short as 2 weeks. Our designated sales and compliance representative will provide professional assistance step by step. Our simple API and our powerful integration tool offers businesses varieties of integration options according to each business development capacity. So we certainly don't want the integration to stand in the way of an onboarding. We also have our in-house hosted payment page, which we call ZOTAPay Cashier, and it is designed in the way that the end user can get the personalized payment experience. And by identifying the country this end user is at, the cashier will show all the available payment methods in the local currency and the local language. Speaking of language, our customer support team is also very international, and we support multi-language 24/7 online support. And every business will be assigned this dedicated account executive like myself, who is a payment expert to ensure the highest level of assistance. And also, I want to mention a little bit about data security and fraud prevention, because it's never overrated for any business when it comes to online payments. So our risk management team can identify the potential risks before they even arise by utilizing our risk and fraud prevention tools, analysis, real-time tracking, multiple filters, and also we do cross-checking financial activity against various blacklists and open source negative database. So we managed to prevent chargebacks or fraud drastically through those tools. And those are also based on our years of experience being the pioneer in the online payment industry. So I want to quickly showcase our in-house payment gateway called MetaGate. After long 2 years of development, we finally launched the newest version of our in-house back office that put everything that a business needs to have to know about their payment information together. So the sophisticated reporting system, we have the real-time data at a glance, and the option to conduct payout and the refund directly from the back office, or the accounting options and personal dashboard that gives merchants the performance analysis. And even businesses with no payment related team, which is a lot, can also easily manage their payment without any stress. So lastly, but certainly not the least, I'd like to mention some of the milestones of ourselves. We're honored to be chosen as the best payment service provider at London Finance Magnet in the past 3 years in a row. We're actually attending in 2 weeks again this year, and hopefully we can bring back great news again. And our years-long partner, Salesforce, chose us as one of their successful stories, and because of our swift growth as a small, middle-sized startup fintech. And by successfully adopting Salesforce as our CRM in the best manner, ZotaPay has been able to take our business operations to the next level. And in the only 6 years of ZotaPay's history, we have managed to develop our cutting-edge in-house gateway that I just showed, the MetaGate, and integrated more than 1,000 payment methods and expanded to 6 office locations across the globe. And year after year, we continue to strengthen ourselves and acquire Tier 1 financial license in key regions of the world and never stop progressing, which put ourselves as one of the world leading financial technology companies. And that'll be the end of my presentation. And now I would love to answer any of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, for your interesting presentation.
Thank you for your presentations. Okay, I have questions about, could you tell us more the current status and the situation in the Japanese market? Because the ZotaPay has the partners in Japan. So we would like to know more about the Japanese situations, the situation in Japan.
Okay. By the situation, you mean our merchants market or our partner? Because we work in both, we can also integrate Japanese local providers as our partner. And the contrary, we can also have merchants in Japan who use our solutions. So just want to make sure which you're talking about.
If possible, can you give them the actual cases?
Okay. For example, I would just take one of my own merchants that I'm actually working for years. They're one of our case study model of Japan, and they are, I cannot say the name, but they're doing the online exam business, I would say, and they are based in Japan, but they target South Asia. So for them, they need to have the local payment solutions in all the Asia countries that they're targeting. And before us, they only had a credit card and cash, I think, voucher. And that actually limited their end users' payment availability because most of their clients are not holding credit cards. And, voucher has its own limit too. So after working with us, they integrated a lot of the e-wallets solutions, and they actually tripled their traffic in a month after they go live with us. So that's a very good case of how alternative payment solutions can actually help a business, especially online global business, to grow. In terms of, just simply adding more payment methods and expand your business like that. And I hope that answered your question. That's one of the Japanese business case we had, and we also have other industries like a higher risk. And we actually have more who's the other way around, which is targeting Japanese markets. And since we have local solutions and local partners working with us, we can offer them Japanese solutions if they want.
Thank you for your answers. Okay, that's all covered all.
Alex, Tello, do you have any questions?
Not from my side, no. Unfortunately, this is a little bit out of our scope, I think.
Yeah,
I also
really.
have one other question.
Sure.
I think the your service is a kind of it's absolutely the payment gateway for the any kind of the services. So let's say the PayPal could be the one of the competitors. Is it right?
I would say no.
No.
Yeah, go
So
on.
Can you tell me the differentiation between the PayPal and your services?
I would say, first of all, actually, PayPal is more of international solutions rather than alternative payment solution, which is very focused on local region. So yeah, any country, as far as the PayPal is working in, the customer can use that. And I think I also personally use it for some of the payments, but it needs to be linked to the bank account, right? So even I think it's very hard for especially Japanese merchants to understand, but in many countries in the world, people don't even have bank accounts. You probably cannot even have PayPal without a bank account or cards. But people do have e-wallets, which you only need a smartphone nowadays, and a mobile phone, even in countries that they don't even have smartphone nowadays, like Africa, and also Latin America. Those countries are way less advanced than we can ever imagine. So yeah, it's just never their option, and our coverage is just it's way vaster than the international solutions such as PayPal, because we actually go down towards all those countries have a lot of population, but actually have a less advanced payment in infrastructure, and they just simply don't use, let's say, Google Pay, Apple Pay, or PayPal, or any other big names you can think of. That what makes the Pay stand out, and we actually have different target in terms of that. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I understand that. So without the bank account, the user can use the ESR services. Okay. So about the exit, in terms of the exit, so now we are thinking to introduce your services to talk with the fintech company, which is located in the Fukuoka cities. Actually, this company already have this company is expanding into the Fukuoka city from the overseas, from the abroad. So this company is providing the payment method so for the payer with using the local regional currencies. So I think that this company needs the bigger coverage, like the Latin America, Africa. So this fintech company might be interested in your services. So we will contact, we will talk with this company, and then we will come back to you and with
sounds perfect. Sounds amazing. I think that's exactly the business model we're having. Yes, amazing. Let me know about it.
Please give me let us have time to talk with them. Thank
you. Of course. I know take time in Japanese companies. Yes.
Yeah, well.
Yes, I'm half Japanese. I on daily basis actually deal with the Japanese clients. So yeah, I know very well.
Perfect. So the next time in Japanese, then, huh?
Of course. Feel free to send Japanese email, by the way. Feel free to send the emails or anything in Japanese. I can. Yes.
Perfect.
Correspondence can be in Japanese.
My Japanese is very poor, but I think we'll send in Japanese and in English. But all in all, thank you very much, Sarah.
Thank you
for the wonderful presentation, and thank you for all the participants. We are done with today's program. It's a pity that we could not present G2 Geo. However, or GIS, apologies for that. But anyway, after this event, we will send you a feedback form. Your feedback is very important for us to improve our events. We greatly appreciate your cooperations. If you have any additional questions to Jakore or Israel Economic and Commercial Mission in Hong Kong or Macau, or to the startups, or to even us, please feel free to let us know in the feedback form. Thank you, everybody, again for your time, your patience, and see you soon in the next event. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Arigatou
Thank you.
gozaimasu.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.